Hi everyone, here's today's objective. Read and write decimal place value numbers to the thousands place. Let's get started. What is a decimal? A decimal number is a number that is less than 1. Example, 0.6. This is read as 6/10. Decimal numbers have place values just like whole numbers do. Their place values end with the letters T, H, S. This is very important. When you see these three letters, THS, at the end of a word, that lets you know that it is decimal place value rather than whole number place value. Let's practice reading some decimal numbers. These are decimal flip cards. I'm going to move some of these cards so that we have numbers underneath them. We'll take away this one and we'll take away this one. If I want to read this number, what I do is start with the place value furthest over to the left. This is my ones place. As you know from when we did whole number place value, the numbers to the left have greater place values than the numbers to the right. So over here on the left side, I have ones and I have tens. On my decimal place value side, you'll notice the words ending in THS. We have tenths, hundredths, and thousands. The thousands is the smallest place value that's on my screen. It's the place value furthest over to the right. Back to reading this number. When we read numbers, we start with the place value we see on the left. Since I have a 1 in the ones place, I read this as 1. Then I read the decimal point, and I always use the word and when I see that. So this is read as 1, and then I read the next number, 1, and then I read the place value, tenths. So I would read this number again. This would be read as 1 and 1/10. Let's try another one. I'm going to put this 0 back up here, and we'll put this 0 up there. Let's do, we'll take a couple cards down here. We'll move this one over here also. All right, let's try and read this number. Again, we want to start with the place value that's furthest to the left. This time I have two numbers next to each other. If we forgot all about these decimal side and we just looked at these two numbers, we would read this as 20. Just because we add some decimal parts here doesn't mean we read this any differently on the left-hand side. This is still read as the number 20. Just now I have the decimal point, so I'm going to add in the word and then I'm going to read what I see on the right side. Notice this time I don't have any tenths, but I do have 1/100th. So I'm going to read this number as 20 and 1/100th. This would be read as 20 and 1/100th. Let's try reading another one. This time we'll take away that 0, and we will take away this 0, and let's take away another number. Why not? Let's take away another one. All right, here's my new number. This time I'm going to look first again over to the left. You'll notice this time I have 21. So this is 21, and now I need to look at the right side. Again, just like with the left side, if you have more than one number, you're going to say the group of numbers together. So I'm going to say 31, and then I read right up on top the last place value to the right that I have, hundredths. Notice we do have some thousands here, but there aren't any. The 0 means there really aren't any over there, so I'm not going to read that number. So I'm going to back up now to the beginning. This number is read as 21 and 31, and then my place value, hundredths, 21 and 31/100ths. Okay, this time let's put in some thousands. We'll take away a couple cards from this side. And why don't we try this number? Okay, here we go. We're going to read this as 21, and now this time we have a group of 3 numbers, so we read all 3 together. 314, and then I read the last place value to the right, thousands. So again, this is 21 and 314 thousandths. You're going to be making a flip book in class, and that will help you learn to read place values. Let's try something a little bit different now. We're going to try reading some decimals. Notice up at the top of your screen, you will see that there is a decimal place value chart, and it has thousands, hundredths, tenths. Then we have our decimal and the word and, ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. This is going to help us read decimals. You'll notice on the screen we have 0.5. I have my decimal point, so there it is on the chart, and then I have one number next to it on the right side. You'll notice the number on the right side here is tenths. So I'm going to read this number first. This is read as 5/10. Let's try another one. This time you'll see there's 0.18. I'm going to say the numbers together first, 18, and then I need to say the place value that's furthest to the right. This 8 here is in the hundredths place because it's the second number over to the right. So again, I read it as 18 and then hundredths because I have a number in the hundredths place. Next number. You'll see this time we have a 3-digit decimal number. So here's the decimal point, and you'll notice the number furthest over is 1, 2, 3 places down that chart. 1, 2, 3 would be the thousandths place. I'm going to read all 3 digits together, 234, and then I'm going to say the place value that's over here on the right, thousandths. This is 234 thousandths. All right, let's try adding in some of those whole numbers. Now you'll notice I have numbers to the right, and I also have numbers to the left. I'm going to start with the numbers on the left. I'm going to read them together as a group, just like I would normally, 234. Now I'm going to say and for the decimal point, 234 and 12, and then this is 2 digits over, 1, 2. So I'm going to say hundredths. 234 and 12 hundredths. All right, let's move on. Now we're going to talk about writing decimals. You'll see here there's some words, 9/10. This time I want to write that. What I'm going to do is put my decimal point in first. I know I have 9 and I have tenths. I want to check where is the tenths place. It is one place over from the decimal. So that's where I'm going to write my 9. It would look just like this, 9/10. Now I want to write 5 hundredths. Well, I'm going to look at my chart here. Hundredths is the second place over. So I need to have 2 digits here when I write my number. I'm going to first put in the decimal. And it says I have 5 hundredths. Now if I put a 5 here, would that be 5 hundredths? No, that would be 5/10 because one place over is for the tenths place. So I need to erase that. I don't actually have any tenths, so I need to put a 0 in that spot as a placeholder. And then I'm going to go ahead and write my 5. This time you'll notice my 5 is in the hundredths place, that second place over. So that's how I would write 5 hundredths. Moving on, 30 thousandths. I'm going to start by putting my decimal point in. And I want to have the thousands place. That means a number needs to be in the third spot over. Well, let's see. If I put 30 like this, how many digits would that be? Yeah, that would only be 2 digits. I need a 3-digit number. So I need my eraser again. That must mean I need to put a 0 in there as a placeholder. I'm going to go ahead and get my pen. I'm going to put a 0 first. Now I'm going to put in my 30. And we'll see how many places we have. Now, do I have 3 places? 1, 2, 3. Yep. So this would be 30 thousandths. Okay. Ooh, here's a long one. 315 and 6/10. Whoa, I heard the word and in there. That means I'm going to have a decimal point. I'm going to put in my decimal point right now. Now, I have some numbers before the decimal point. That means they're whole numbers, 315. I'm going to write them right over here on the left, 315. Now I have my decimal for that word and 6/10. Well, tenths are right next to the decimal, so I can just go ahead and drop in my 6. 315 and 6/10. Let's move on. This is a little activity where we're going to roll the dice and see what it lands on, and then we're going to write some numbers into this chart and we'll practice reading them. So let's go ahead and give this die a spin. you'll see I got a 4. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 4 anywhere I want. We'll go ahead and put it there. And then we will go ahead and give this another little spin. This time I got a 5. I'm going to put my 5 right here. We'll give it one more little spin. And I landed on a 2. I'm going to put my 2 right there. And the decimal point goes in the middle. Now I want to read the number that I've written. How would I read this number? I'm going to read these two digits together, 45. Then I'm going to say the word and then I'm going to read my next number, 2, and then its place value, tenths. So this number is read as 45 and 2 tenths. Let's do one more here. Give it a good little spin. And I got a 2. I'm going to go ahead this time and put it in over in this position. We'll put that decimal point in too. Give it another good little spin. And I got another 2. How about that? We will put it in this position. All right, how would I read this number? There's no numbers on the whole number side, so I'm just going to read the decimal numbers together, the two digits together, 22, and then I say that place value, hundredths. This is read as 22 hundredths. All right, that's it for today. It's time for you to take your quiz. Remember to watch the video again if you need to. A lot of these concepts are new, and we will see you in class next time. Have a good day.